20,000 years ago, on the frozen edge of a human campfire, a wolf made a choice that would cost it everything it was, and it made that choice for us. It was not the strongest wolf. The strongest stayed in the dark, where the hunting was good and humans were just another danger. This one was different. This one was a little less afraid. It crept toward the firelight, close enough to feel the heat, close enough to be killed, and it waited. Not to attack, to be near, to take the scraps the strange upright creatures threw away, and in exchange to do something no wolf had ever done for another species. To stay, to watch the dark for them, to choose them. We tell this story like we conquered the wolf. We didn't. We never tamed a single wild thing that day. The friendliest wolves, the brave ones, the gentle ones, the ones who could look at a human and feel something other than fear, those were the ones who survived beside us, ate beside us, had pups beside us. And generation after generation, for 20,000 years, that animal slowly erased the wolf inside itself to become something the world had never seen before. It became the only creature on Earth that evolved body and soul for the single purpose of loving us. This is not the history of a pet. This is the story of the most loyal bargain any living thing ever made, and the most unfair one. Because the dog gave us everything, and we gave it a life too short to deserve it. Look at what it did to itself to stay near us. Somewhere across those thousands of years, the dog grew a muscle that the wolf does not have, a tiny muscle above the eyes. Scientists found it only recently, and when they understood what it was for, it stopped some of them cold. That muscle does one thing. It lifts the inner eyebrow and makes the face that breaks your heart. The wide, soft, pleading puppy eyes that you cannot look away from. The wolf cannot make that face. It physically cannot. The dog grew the muscle to make it, because over 20,000 years, the dogs who could reach into a human chest and pull at something, those were the ones we fed, the ones we kept, the ones we loved. The dog did not learn to beg. It evolved a face built to be loved by us. It rewired its own skull for our affection. And it didn't stop at its face. A dog can follow your pointing finger. That sounds like nothing, until you learn that a chimpanzee, our closest relative, cannot do it reliably. Your dog can read where you're looking. It can read the tone of your voice, the slump of your shoulders, the moment something in you goes quiet and sad. It watches your face the way you watch the face of someone you love, searching it for what they're feeling. It even changed its own stomach so it could eat what we eat. Digest the food from our tables, share our scraps and our grain across 10,000 years of sitting at our feet. Every part of this animal, its eyes, its mind, its body, was reshaped by one force: us. Nothing else in all of nature has ever remade itself so completely just to be close to another kind of creature. And then we did something to it in return. We picked up that animal like wet clay, and we made it into 1,000 things. From that one wolf at the fire, we built 400 breeds. The Chihuahua trembling in a handbag and the Great Dane the size of a pony are the same animal, the same wolf, pulled in opposite directions by our hands. We bred dogs to run down deer and dogs to pull sleds across ice that would kill a man in minutes. We bred dogs to herd, to guard, to hunt, to fight, and finally, when we had everything else we needed, we bred dogs whose only job was to sit in our laps and love us. We shaped them for every purpose we ever had. But love like ours leaves marks. In our hunger to make them perfect, to make them cute, to make their faces flatter and their eyes bigger, we bred some of them into bodies that can barely breathe. Dogs that cannot run without gasping. Dogs that cannot be born without our help. That is the shadow in this story, and it would be a lie to leave it out. The same love that lifted the dog out of the wild also bent some of them out of shape. We are not always gentle with the things that love us most. And still, after everything, the dog kept its end of the bargain better than we have ever kept ours. There was a dog in Tokyo named Hachiko. Every morning he walked his owner to the train station. Every evening he returned to wait for him to come home. One day his owner went to work and died there, suddenly, and never came back to the station. And Hachiko waited. He came back to that same spot, at the same hour, the next day, and the next. He waited for a man who was never coming home for 9 years. People in the city came to know him, the dog at the station who would not stop waiting, and they fed him and watched him return, evening after evening, year after year, his face growing gray, until he died near the place he had last seen the person he loved. 9 years, for a love that ended for everyone but him. That is not training. You cannot train that. That is the thing we built into them at the fire 20,000 years ago, and it runs deeper than reason, deeper than death. There are dogs that have pulled children from rivers, dogs that dug through the rubble of fallen buildings until their paws bled, searching for the buried voices of strangers. Dogs that walked into war beside soldiers who were not their blood, and lay down on the bodies of the dying so they would not be alone at the end. Over and over, across all of history, the dog has shown us the same thing, that it will give its whole life for us, without asking whether we have earned it. And here is the part that should sit in your chest if you have ever loved one. You will outlive your dog. You knew it when you brought it home. A dog gets 10 years, maybe 15 if you are lucky. You get 60, 70, 80. And somewhere in those years, you chose, knowing exactly how it ends, to love something you were guaranteed to lose. We all do. Every person who has ever knelt down to a dog has signed the same contract. I will be your whole world, and you will be a chapter of mine, and I will stay until the end, even though the end will break me. Because that is the truth of it. The truth the dog has never once understood, and we have never once been able to explain. To you, your dog is one part of a long life, a few good years among many. But to your dog, you are not a part of its life. You are all of it. From the moment it opens its eyes to the moment it closes them. You are its morning and its night, its safety, its religion, its entire reason. It does not have other things. It has you. It loved you more in its short life than you will ever be able to love it back. Not because you are cruel, but because you are not its whole world the way it is yours. The wolf came to our fire 20,000 years ago and gave up the wild to be near us. It gave up its body, its mind, its long, fierce freedom, and asked for nothing but to stay. We never deserved it. We still don't. But it chose us anyway. It chooses us every single day. And the least we can do in the few short years it gives us is be worth coming home to. If you have ever loved a dog that's gone now, do something for me. Leave its name in the comments, just the name, so it's written down somewhere in the world tonight. And if the one who chose you is still here, lying somewhere near you as you watch this, go put your hand on them before this video ends. They've been waiting all day for you to come home. Subscribe, because the next one is the history of the horse, the animal that didn't just carry us through history, it carried us into it. And ring the bell so you don't miss the moment we tell the story of the creature that built the entire world beneath our feet.